At some point in Ukraine, they began to pay attention to small cars. Their advantages in the metropolis are obvious, especially if it is an inexpensive, practical and roomy car, like the Ford Fusion. Such pluses make him forgive his unsightly appearance. Ford Fusion is built on the Fiesta platform and at first glance does not differ much from it in size. However, in reality it is noticeably more spacious and practical. With the same wheelbase, the trunk volume is 337 liters, 65 liters more than the Fiesta, and with the rear seats folded down, alas, only the backrest drops, and at the same time a flat floor with the trunk fails, 1,175 liters. Behind the wheel, a driver under 190 centimeters tall can sit down without propping up the ceiling with his head, and an equally tall rear passenger will not rest his knees on the back of his seat. A decent ground clearance, 165 mm, allows you to freely drive onto curbs for parking in the city and overcome broken country roads on the way to the summer cottage. Short body overhangs also provide good geometric cross-country ability. What is not the dream of the owner of a suburban area? Yes, and the car looks almost like a reduced SUV with a specific vertical landing, a la I sit high, I look far away. However, when driving over large irregularities, care must still be taken. The fact is that the skirt of the bumper, lowered a couple of centimeters below the clearance line, clings to the surface when leaving a more or less decent elevation and may crack. Hot car enthusiasts sometimes even left the bumper on those same curbs. Compared to the Fiesta, only the most powerful four-cylinder engines were installed on the Ford Fusion, 1.4, 80 horsepower, and 1.6-liter, 100 horsepower, gasoline engines, as well as a 1.4-liter turbo diesel, 68 horsepower. Gearboxes, 5-speed mechanics and a robotic manual gearbox designed on its basis, as well as a 4-band automatic. Our dealers sold exclusively petrol versions of the car. In the secondary market, diesel modifications can be counted on the fingers of one hand. In operation, this is an almost trouble-free car. In terms of maintenance, it is not very expensive, it has few characteristic flaws. Both engines are durable and reliable, but at the same time demanding on fuel quality. Refueling at cheap gas stations is fraught with big troubles. For example, sometimes due to bad gasoline, the valves jam in the guides. As a rule, this ends with the repair or replacement of the head of the block. On mechanical boxes, after 3 to 4 years of operation, the input shaft oil seal leaks. The part itself costs a penny, but the replacement will be expensive, because for this you have to hang out the gearbox and engine. The robotic transmission is a constant problem for many Ford Fusion owners. They never get used to delays when shifting gears, although for some the algorithm of its work does not annoy at all. The robot in loaded modes, long uphill driving through traffic jams, is prone to overheating, which will be indicated by trembling on the brake pedal. True, after cooling the clutch mechanism, the performance of the gearbox is fully restored. The box is also sensitive to failures in electrical circuits. Often because of this, the engine does not even start. The main expenses in the suspension will fall on the stabilizer struts and bushings, as well as ball joints. In the brake system, you will have to fork out only for pads and discs, and in steering, for steering rods and their tips. The body is resistant to corrosion, and the paintwork can be considered exemplary for a small car. True, there are chips on the front of the case, arches and thresholds of the oldest specimens. But the chrome parts became cloudy and rusted even on relatively fresh cars. The engines are reliable and durable. For example, a major maintenance with the replacement of the timing belt, according to the regulations, is supposed to be carried out after 120,000 kilometers. True, in Ukrainian conditions unused fusions, oxygen sensors, throttle position and mass airflow periodically fail. A manual gearbox and an automatic transmission are considered reliable, but a modification with a robot should be tested on the go. According to statistics, every third buyer then refuses to purchase. Robot is specific in operation and demanding for maintenance. The front suspension is simple in design, and on a light car, its elements serve for a long time. The spare parts are not at all expensive. There are no frankly weak points in the chassis, except, perhaps, the support bearings of the struts, which wear out by 50,000 kilometers. The rear suspension is considered strong and hassle-free for the most part due to the simplicity of the design, which is based on a semi-independent beam. By 80,000 kilometers, they will require the replacement of the stabilizer strut, and shock absorbers will make themselves known a little later.